Have you ever found yourself staring at the void left by someone who walked away from your life, wondering if they truly understood the treasure they left behind? Perhaps they believed that moving on would be easy, unaware of the depth of your presence or the light you brought into their world. But now, as you reflect, do you feel a quiet resolve rising within you? A desire to not only recover but to thrive so profoundly that their absence becomes a sharp reminder of their mistake. So what if I told you that their departure could be the greatest gift they unknowingly gave you? The key lies not in chasing them back or succumbing to bitterness, but in embracing the wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy of self-mastery, resilience, and strength. By internalizing its principles and applying them through 10 transformative rules, you'll reclaim your power, rebuild your sense of self-worth, and create a life so fulfilling that their regret is inevitable. Let me ask you this. What would it feel like to become the version of yourself that you've always dreamed of? The person who not only survives heartbreak, but uses it as the foundation for unparalleled growth. By the end of this journey, you will know exactly how to achieve this transformation. Stay with me, because the final rule is where it all comes together, revealing the ultimate Stoic path to becoming unforgettable. 1. Embrace the power of silence. Silence is not merely the absence of words, it is the presence of strength. When someone leaves, the instinct to react, to explain, plead, or even lash out can be overwhelming. But have you ever paused to wonder, what do my reactions say about my power? When you speak out of desperation, you're not reclaiming control, you're handing it over. Think about it. What if instead of reaching out to fill the void, you let your silence speak louder than words? Imagine them scrolling through their phone, waiting for the message or call that never comes. They might not admit it immediately, but in the quietness of their thoughts, the absence of your voice grows louder. That silence becomes a mirror, reflecting back to them the reality of what they've lost. By choosing silence, you reclaim control over your emotions and your narrative. This isn't a game of manipulation. It's about protecting your energy and refusing to let their actions define your peace. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. But how do you resist the urge to break the silence? Start by shifting your focus inward. Whenever you feel the pull to speak, ask yourself, what am I hoping to achieve? If the answer is validation or closure, recognize that these can only come from within. Affirm to yourself, I am stronger than tomorrow. A phrase that grounds you in the knowledge that each day you remain silent is a day you grow stronger. Silence, however, doesn't mean inaction. Use this time to reflect, heal, and rebuild. Write in a journal, meditate, or revisit activities that once brought you joy. Let this period of silence be a cocoon from which you emerge stronger, wiser, and more at peace. The beauty of silence lies in its dual power. While it grants you the space to heal, it forces them to confront the void left by your absence. And when they realize that you're no longer waiting on their return, regret begins to creep in. You are no longer a backup plan, a safety net. You become untouchable. And here's the truth. Silence requires immense discipline. It's tempting to break it, to try and control the uncontrollable. But remember the essence of Stoicism. Focus only on what is within your power. And as your silence grows more profound, so does your strength. Would you ready to embrace this rule, to let your silence be a testament to your resilience? Let us move now to the next rule, where we'll redefine what truly matters in your life. Stay with me, because this is where your transformation begins to take shape. 2. Redefine your priorities. When someone walks out of your life, it can feel as if the world you built with them has crumbled. Your shared plans, dreams, and routines suddenly vanish, leaving a space that feels empty and overwhelming. But here's a question worth asking. Is this emptiness a loss or an opportunity? Could it be that this space was made not to haunt you, but to allow you to realign with what truly matters? Redefining your priorities is not just about moving on, it's about choosing who you want to become. Imagine your life as a canvas. Their departure may have left it blank, but now you have the freedom to paint a masterpiece guided solely by your values, passions, and dreams. Seneca, a cornerstone of Stoicism, reminds us it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. How much time have you spent prioritizing someone else's happiness at the expense of your own? Start by taking a hard look at where your energy is going. Are you still replaying old conversations in your mind, checking their social media, or wondering if they miss you? Every moment spent focused on them is a moment you could use to invest in yourself. What would it look like if you shifted that energy towards something that genuinely fulfills you? Perhaps it's a project you've been putting off, a passion you've long neglected, or a personal goal you've set aside. This is your moment to take back control. Consider this. In the relationship, were you compromising parts of yourself to accommodate them? Did you adjust your dreams or silence your voice to keep the peace? Now is the time to reclaim those lost parts of yourself. Make a list of the things you've always wanted to do, but felt you couldn't. Travel to the place you've always dreamed of visiting. Dive into a hobby you've been curious about. Reconnect with friends and family who truly support you. Build a life that excites you, one that reflects your values and aspirations. Here's an example. Suppose you always wanted to prioritize your health but felt too stretched in your relationship to commit to it. Now is the perfect time to start. Imagine yourself taking a morning jog, feeling the crisp air fill your lungs as your body grows stronger. With each step, you're not just running, you're reclaiming your sense of purpose. Every bead of sweat is proof that your life is moving forward. When you realign your priorities, something powerful happens. The life you begin to build becomes magnetic. You start to radiate a sense of independence, passion, and fulfillment that others can't help but notice. And that includes the person who left. They'll see that you're not just surviving their absence, you're thriving in it. They'll realize they were not the center of your world, and in that realization, regret often begins to take hold. But what if they never regret it? What if they never notice your transformation? Ask yourself this: does it matter? The essence of Stoicism teaches us to focus only on what is within our control. You can't control how they feel or whether they'll recognize your worth. What you can control is the quality of the life you're building. Your happiness, your growth, and your peace are enough. As you begin this process of redefining your priorities, take a moment to affirm your commitment. Write in the comments, "I am building a life that reflects my true self." Share your vision and inspire others to take their first steps toward growth. And if you're finding this journey resonates with you, don't forget to like this video. Your engagement helps spread these powerful Stoic lessons to others who might need them. Together, let's create a community of strength and transformation. Now, as your priorities begin to realign, the next step is just as crucial. What happens when emotions rise, when provocations test your resolve? That's where the next rule comes into play: mastering the art of non-reactivity. Stay with me, because this is where the real strength lies. 3. Never chase back. When someone chooses to walk away from you, what is your first instinct? For many, it's to chase, to pick up the phone, send a heartfelt message, or do whatever it takes to remind them of your value. But let me ask you this: does chasing them truly bring them back, or does it push them further away? And more importantly, what does it cost you in terms of your dignity and self-worth? Imagine this scenario. They leave and you immediately begin to text, call, and reach out. Do you plead your case, remind them of the good times, and try to show them what they're losing? In their eyes, this desperation only confirms one thing: you need them more than they need you. It reinforces their decision to leave, not because you're unworthy, but because you've handed them all the power. Here's where Stoicism offers profound guidance. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things beyond our control." Chasing someone who has chosen to leave is an attempt to control the uncontrollable, their feelings, their decisions, their return. But freedom lies in stepping back and choosing to prioritize yourself instead. What happens when you don't chase? The balance shifts. Instead of being the one trying to prove your worth, you become the one who knows their value. Imagine how unsettling this is for them. They expected you to react, to try to win them back, but instead they're met with silence and composure. Suddenly, the person they thought they could leave so easily becomes someone they're curious about, someone whose absence grows louder with time. But let's be honest, choosing not to chase is incredibly difficult. The pull to reach out can feel almost unbearable. How do you resist it? Start by focusing on the bigger picture. Ask yourself, what do I hope to gain by chasing them? If your goal is to make them realize your worth, consider this: desperation rarely inspires respect or regret. Strength and self-assuredness, however, do. Every time you feel the urge to chase, remind yourself of this truth: you cannot convince someone to see your value if they've already decided to overlook it. Instead, your energy is better spent building a life that reflects your worth, a life so full and vibrant that their absence feels like nothing more than a shadow in your light. Here's a practical exercise. The next time you feel tempted to reach out, redirect that energy into something constructive. Go for a walk, journal your thoughts, or call a supportive friend. Use this moment as an opportunity to invest in your growth rather than their validation. Over time, these small acts of self-respect accumulate, creating a foundation of unshakable confidence. But what if they never come back? This is where the wisdom of Stoicism becomes invaluable. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. If you constantly focus on what you've lost, you prolong your suffering. Shift your thoughts toward what you're gaining, a deeper understanding of your resilience, a renewed focus on your goals, and a life that is yours alone to shape. And let's flip the script. What if they do come back? When you've chosen not to chase, their return is no longer about them, it's about you. You're no longer the person who begged for their attention. You become someone who values themselves too much to settle for anything less than genuine effort and respect. In this dynamic, their regret is inevitable, but your sense of self-worth remains untouchable. Choosing not to chase isn't about playing games, it's about preserving your dignity and focusing on what truly matters, your own growth. By stepping back, you're creating the space for your transformation, a space where regret is not your burden to carry but theirs to confront. 4. Create a life of fulfillment without them. What would your life look like if their absence no longer felt like a loss but an opportunity? This is the core of creating a life of fulfillment without them, building a world where your happiness, joy, and purpose are not contingent on their presence. Let me ask you this. Do you truly believe your well-being should depend on someone else's choice to stay or leave? Or are you ready to claim responsibility for your happiness? When someone leaves, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that they were the source of your fulfillment. But here's the truth. They weren't. Fulfillment doesn't come from a person, it comes from within. The connection you had with them may have added value to your life, but it was never the foundation. That foundation is yours alone to build, and now you have the freedom to strengthen it without compromise. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is in our control. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This doesn't mean abandoning your desires, but recognizing that true contentment comes from aligning your life with what genuinely matters to you. Their departure creates a void, yes, but this void is fertile ground for you to plant the seeds of a life that reflects your values, passions, and purpose. So where do you begin? Start by asking yourself, what brings me joy? What fulfills me on a deeper level? Perhaps there are hobbies you've set aside, dreams you've deferred, or connections you've neglected. Now is the time to rediscover them. Were you once passionate about painting, writing, or music? Did you dream of traveling, learning a new language, or advancing in your career? Their absence gives you the opportunity to channel your energy into these pursuits without distraction. Imagine this. Instead of spending your evenings replaying old memories, you dedicate that time to something new and exciting. You sign up for a class you've always wanted to take or begin a fitness journey that reinvigorates your body and mind. Each small step forward becomes a reminder that your life is in motion not because of them, but because of you. And what happens when you create this life of fulfillment? You become magnetic. When you're genuinely engaged with your own passions, people are naturally drawn to your energy. This isn't about proving anything to the person who left. It's about radiating a sense of purpose and independence that cannot be ignored. If they happen to notice, so be it. But whether they do or not, your life continues to flourish. There will, of course, be moments of longing. It's natural to miss the companionship or the memories you shared. But when those feelings arise, ask yourself, am I mourning the person or the idea of what I thought we had? Often we cling to relationships not because they were perfect, but because we fear the unknown. Yet the unknown is where your greatest potential lies. Consider this example. Let's say your relationship ended and for weeks you felt lost without them. But instead of staying in that space of loss, you decided to make a change. You began reconnecting with old friends, spending weekends exploring nature, and pursuing a passion project that had been sitting on the shelf. Months later, you find yourself more fulfilled than ever, not because they returned, but because you invested in your own happiness. It's also worth remembering that fulfillment doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, one that requires patience and persistence. Some days will be harder than others, but every effort you make to create a life you love is a step toward becoming the person you were meant to be. And as your fulfillment grows, so does your sense of inner peace, a peace that cannot be shaken by someone else's absence. So what does your ideal life look like? What would it mean to wake up every morning feeling excited about the day ahead, knowing that your happiness isn't tied to anyone but yourself. As you build this life, their role in your story becomes smaller and smaller, until one day you realize they were never the source of your light. You were. Creating a life of fulfillment without them is not about ignoring the pain of loss. It's about using that pain as a catalyst for growth. With every new experience, every passion pursued, and every goal achieved, you prove to yourself that your happiness is your own to create. And in that realization lies the ultimate power. Now that you've begun to reshape your life, the next step is crucial. What happens when they try to test your newfound strength, or when emotions run high? In the next rule, we'll explore the art of non-reactivity and how mastering your emotional responses solidifies your transformation. Stay with me, this is where your resilience truly takes root. 5. Master the art of non-reactivity. How often do we let others dictate our emotions? When someone leaves or disappoints us, it's natural to feel a surge of emotions, anger, sadness, or the overwhelming need to explain ourselves. But let me ask you this. When you react impulsively, are you truly in control, or are you handing that power to someone else? Non-reactivity is one of the most powerful tools you can master. It is the ability to remain calm and composed in the face of provocation, not because you don't feel, but because you refuse to let external events control your inner peace. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Imagine this scenario. The person who left tries to provoke you, maybe through a message, a social media post, or an indirect comment. They expect you to react, to lash out, or plead for attention, but instead you respond with silence, or better yet, a calm acknowledgement that refuses to escalate the situation. How unsettling would that be for them? They expect a drama, but you've shown them strength. That strength is what makes regret inevitable. Non-reactivity doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means acknowledging them without letting them dictate your actions. When you feel anger, sadness, or frustration, pause and ask yourself, what do I gain by reacting impulsively? What do I lose? This moment of reflection allows you to choose your response deliberately, rather than being swept away by the tide of your emotions. Consider this practical exercise. The next time you feel triggered, take a deep breath and count to 10. Reflect on whether your reaction aligns with the person you're striving to become. Repeat to yourself the affirmation, "I am stronger than tomorrow." This simple practice can anchor you in resilience, reminding you that true power lies in self-control. Let's take a closer look at how this plays out in real life. Suppose the person who left starts posting cryptic messages online, clearly aimed at getting a reaction out of you. Instead of taking the bait, you scroll past uninterested. Or perhaps they send a text that pushes your buttons, something designed to provoke a response. Instead of firing back, you can give yourself time to cool down and then decide if a response is even necessary. Often it's not. Non-reactivity also applies to moments of self-doubt or inner turmoil. When memories resurface or loneliness creeps in, resist the urge to spiral into negativity. Instead, sit with your feelings, acknowledge them, and redirect your focus towards something constructive. This could be as simple as going for a walk, journaling your thoughts, or engaging in a passion that grounds you in the present moment. Here's the beautiful irony. By choosing non-reactivity, you not only protect your peace but also become unforgettable. In a world where emotional overreactions are the norm, your calm and composed demeanor stands out. The person who left will notice, even if they don't admit it. They'll wonder how you managed to remain so unaffected, and that curiosity often turns into regret. But non-reactivity isn't just for their benefit, it's for yours. Every time you choose to stay calm in the face of chaos, you're building emotional resilience. You're proving to yourself that your happiness and stability are not contingent on anyone else's actions. This is the essence of Stoicism, focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you cannot. Now let's make this personal. When was the last time you reacted impulsively to someone's words or actions? How did it make you feel afterward? Did it bring you peace, or did it amplify your pain? Share your experiences in the comments below. Let us know how you're practicing non-reactivity in your own life. And if this principle resonates with you, show your commitment by liking this video. Every interaction helps spread these Stoic lessons to others who might need them. As you master non-reactivity, you'll find that your emotional energy is no longer wasted on situations or people who don't deserve it. Instead, that energy is redirected toward building a life of fulfillment, a concept we explored earlier and will continue to deepen in the next rule. Stay with me as we discuss the importance of elevating your standards and how this simple shift can transform your relationships in your life. 6. Elevate your standards. What does it mean to truly value yourself? To know your worth and live in alignment with it. When someone leaves, it's tempting to believe that if you had just lowered your standards, accepted less than you deserve, they might have stayed. But let me ask you this. Would you really want someone who only values you when you undervalue yourself? Elevating your standards is not about arrogance or pride. It's about recognizing that your time, energy, and heart are precious. It's about deciding that you will no longer settle for half-hearted efforts, mixed signals, or relationships that require you to shrink yourself to fit someone else's expectations. By raising the bar, you're sending a clear message. I know my worth and I will not compromise it. Imagine your standards as a filter, a way of ensuring that only those who genuinely value and respect you gain access to your life. In the past, perhaps you allowed certain behaviors because you feared losing the relationship, late replies, broken promises, or constant emotional uncertainty. But what if, moving forward, you decided that such behavior is no longer acceptable? How would your relationships change? Here's where Stoicism offers clarity. Epictetus reminds us, know first who you are and then adorn yourself accordingly. Elevating your standards begins with understanding your core values and refusing to compromise them for the sake of pleasing others. This is not about being rigid or unyielding, but about creating a foundation of self-respect that guides your choices. When you elevate your standards, you attract relationships that align with your worth. Consider this. If someone cannot meet the standard you've set, they naturally fall away. This isn't rejection, it's refinement. The relationships that remain will be stronger, healthier, and built on mutual respect. But how do you start elevating your standards? Begin by identifying areas where you've previously settled. Perhaps you tolerated disrespectful behavior because you didn't want to cause conflict. Or maybe you overlooked red flags because you hoped things would improve. Write these down and ask yourself, what am I no longer willing to accept? This exercise is not about creating a list of demands, but about defining what aligns with the life you want to build. As you implement these boundaries, you may encounter resistance, especially from those accustomed to the old version of you. They might accuse you of being too demanding or difficult, but here's the truth. People who genuinely care about you will rise to meet your standards. Those who don't were never truly invested in your well-being. Elevating your standards also means holding yourself to higher expectations. If you demand honesty, integrity, and effort from others, you must embody these qualities yourself. This self-accountability not only strengthens your character, but also ensures that you're living in alignment with the principles you value most. Let's take an example. Imagine you've decided that consistent communication is non-negotiable in your relationships. In the past, you might have tolerated days of silence or unanswered messages. But now you've set a new standard. When someone fails to meet it, you address it calmly and assertively. If the behavior continues, you step back, recognizing that their inability to meet your standard is not a reflection of your worth but of their capacity. Over time, these elevated standards become second nature. They shape your relationships, your choices, and your outlook on life. And here's the most powerful part. When you live with elevated standards, you inspire others to do the same. You become a beacon of strength, showing that it's possible to build connections rooted in mutual respect and shared values. As you elevate your standards, you may notice something else happening. The person who left begins to realize what they've lost, not because you've chased them, but because they see the life you're building. A life where you no longer compromise. A life where you are thriving, surrounded by people who meet and exceed your expectations. With your standards firmly in place, let's move forward to the next rule, one that focuses on celebrating your growth and accomplishments. How do you showcase your progress in a way that inspires both yourself and others? Stay with me as we explore this next step in your journey of transformation. 7. Showcase your achievements. What do your achievements say about you? Not in the sense of bragging or seeking validation, but as quiet reminders of your growth, resilience, and progress. Have you considered how much you've already accomplished, even in the face of adversity? When someone leaves, it's tempting to hide away, to nurse your wounds in solitude. But what if instead you allowed your progress to shine, not for them, but for yourself? By showcasing your achievements isn't about proving a point to anyone else. It's about acknowledging your journey and celebrating the milestones you've reached along the way. Stoicism reminds us to focus on what we can control, and nothing is more within your control than the effort you put into becoming the best version of yourself. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Consider this. While they may have walked away, you've stayed and done the work. Perhaps you've picked up a new skill, pursued a passion you'd long ignored, or simply rediscovered a sense of peace you thought was lost. These achievements, big or small, are not only a testament to your resilience but also a source of inspiration for others and for yourself on harder days. Imagine this scenario. Months after a breakup, you've learned a new language, completed a fitness goal, or finally started that business you'd been dreaming of. These accomplishments aren't just personal victories, they're evidence that your life didn't stop when they left. In fact, it grew richer, deeper, and more fulfilling. How do you showcase your achievements without falling into the trap of arrogance or performative validation? The key is authenticity. Share your progress with those who genuinely support you, family, friends, or even a broader community, because doing so reinforces your own sense of pride and encourages others to pursue their goals. Let's say you've taken up running and completed your first marathon. Posting about this milestone, for example, isn't about making anyone regret their absence. It's about sharing a moment of pride in your perseverance. Or perhaps you've earned a promotion at work after months of dedication. Let your achievement speak for itself, showing that your focus has shifted from what you've lost to what you're building. But what about those who interpret your progress as an attempt to make them jealous? Here's where the wisdom of Stoicism is invaluable. Epictetus reminds us it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Their interpretation is outside your control. What you can control is your intention, and that should always be rooted in genuine self-acknowledgement, not retaliation. Showcasing your achievements also serves as a powerful internal reminder of your resilience. There will be moments of doubt, times when you question your progress or feel the pull of nostalgia. In these moments, reflect on what you've accomplished. Look back on the steps you've taken, the goals you've met, and the person you've become. Let these reminders anchor you, proving that you are capable of thriving no matter what life throws your way. In addition to personal growth, your achievements create ripples that can inspire others. When someone sees your progress, they may feel encouraged to pursue their own dreams, to take steps toward their own transformation. And isn't that a far greater legacy than any lingering resentment or regret? To be a source of light and inspiration, not just for yourself, but for those around you. Finally, showcasing your achievements quietly shifts the narrative. The person who left may have expected you to remain stagnant, trapped in the shadow of their absence. Instead, they see you moving forward, learning, growing, and succeeding. Regret often follows not because they feel guilt, but because they see that you didn't need them to thrive. Your progress becomes a mirror, reflecting their decision in a new light. As you continue to grow, remember that your achievements are not just milestones but stepping stones toward an even greater future. With this in mind, let's turn to the next rule: how to wield the powerful tool of social media to reflect your progress with intention and integrity. Stay with me as we delve into this modern aspect of your journey. 8. Use social media wisely. In today's world, your digital presence is often the first thing people notice about you, whether they admit it or not. Social media is a powerful tool capable of shaping how others perceive you and, more importantly, how you perceive yourself. Let me ask you this: are you using social media to reflect the best version of yourself, or are you letting it become a place of emotional overexposure? When someone leaves, the temptation to post out of spite, desperation, or pain is strong. Cryptic quotes, emotionally charged posts, or subtle jabs at the person who left might feel cathartic in the moment. But let's be honest, does it truly help? Or does it diminish your power by signaling that you're still deeply affected by their absence? Stoicism teaches us to act with intention, focusing on what is within our control. Epictetus said, "If you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters. Don't wish to seem knowledgeable." In the context of social media, this wisdom translates into choosing not to participate in performative battles or emotional broadcasts. Instead, use your online presence as a reflection of the strong, fulfilled person you're becoming. How do you do this? By sharing moments that genuinely reflect your growth and happiness. Imagine posting a photo from a new adventure, a hobby you've recently embraced, or a celebration with friends. These aren't staged attempts to make anyone jealous. They're authentic snapshots of a life being lived fully. And in doing so, you remind yourself that your journey is worth sharing, not to seek validation but to celebrate your progress. Here's another important question. Are you oversharing? Less is often more when it comes to social media. A few meaningful posts carry far more weight than constant updates. Be selective about what you share and ensure it aligns with your personal growth. This approach not only protects your privacy but also creates an air of confidence and self-assuredness. Let's consider an example. Imagine the person who left scrolling through their feed, expecting to see posts filled with heartbreak or longing. Instead, they find a photo of you hiking through a scenic trail, a book recommendation that reflects your growth, or a caption celebrating a new milestone. Without a single word aimed at them, the message is clear. You're thriving, and your life is moving forward without them. But social media isn't just about what you post, it's also about how you engage. Avoid the temptation to comment on their updates, like their photos, or react to their stories. Every interaction signals a lingering attachment, even if that's not your intention. Instead, focus on building connections with people who uplift you. Comment on posts that inspire you, share content that aligns with your values, and engage in meaningful conversations that bring you joy. And what about the moments when their posts provoke you, when they share something designed to elicit a reaction? Remember the principles of non-reactivity we discussed earlier. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, does this align with the person I'm becoming? Your silence, both online and offline, is a powerful response in itself. Now, let's make this interactive. Have you ever used social media as a tool for growth and self-expression? What kind of posts make you feel genuinely proud of the life you're building? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know how you're transforming your online presence to reflect your personal journey. And if these insights resonate with you, show your support by liking this video. It helps these Stoic-inspired lessons reach others who need them. As you refine your digital presence, remember that social media is only a tool. Your real growth happens offline, in the choices you make and the life you build. With this in mind, let's explore the next step in your transformation, the profound and often underestimated power of silence. Stay with me, because this is where true strength begins to emerge. 9. Embrace the power of silence. Silence often feels uncomfortable, doesn't it? After all, when someone leaves, there's a strong urge to fill the void with words, to seek closure, plead for understanding, or remind them of what they've lost. But have you ever paused to consider what silence truly offers? Instead of a void, what if it's a space for reflection and strength? Silence, when embraced intentionally, speaks louder than any words ever could. It forces the other person to confront their choices without the distraction of your voice. Imagine this. They're expecting a reaction, a heated argument, a heartfelt plea, or even a subtle attempt to get their attention. But instead, they're met with silence. What does that silence say? It says, I value my peace more than your validation. I will not beg for what was freely given. In the quiet, something remarkable happens. The person who left begins to feel the weight of their decision. They're left alone with their thoughts, forced to consider not only your absence but also the strength it takes to say nothing. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, captured this perfectly. Silence is a lesson learned through life's trials. But this isn't just about them, it's about you. Silence provides a sanctuary where you can process your emotions without interference. In this space, you begin to separate who you are from the loss you've experienced. You realize that their departure doesn't define you. Instead, it becomes an opportunity for self-discovery and healing. How do you embrace silence in a world that thrives on noise? Begin by resisting the urge to respond immediately. If they reach out, give yourself time to reflect. Ask yourself, is my response necessary, or am I reacting out of habit or emotion? Often the best reply is none at all. Use that moment to reconnect with your inner self, to breathe deeply, and remind yourself of your strength. Silence also means stepping away from the need to justify or explain. If they left, their reasons belong to them. You don't owe them clarity or closure. They chose to walk away, and your silence reminds them of that choice. It's not about punishing them, but about preserving your peace. Think of silence as a mirror. When you stop filling the space, they're left to see themselves clearly. They're forced to confront the emptiness they created. And while their regret may or may not surface, your silence ensures that your dignity remains intact. As you sit in this silence, you may notice something transformative happening within you. Your thoughts become clearer, your emotions more manageable, and your confidence begins to rebuild. In time, the silence that once felt like a burden becomes a source of profound power. Now, with this strength of silence firmly in place, let's move forward to the final step, taking care of your physical health. This is where your transformation becomes visible, not just in your actions, but in your presence. 10. Never neglect your physical health. When someone leaves, emotional pain often takes center stage. It's easy to neglect your body when your mind feels heavy, isn't it? But what if your physical health is the key to overcoming that pain, not just as a distraction, but as a foundation for rebuilding your confidence and resilience? The mind and body are deeply connected. When you care for one, the other benefits. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Mastery of the self begins with taking control of the one thing you truly own, your body. Neglecting it weakens not only your physical strength, but also your emotional resilience. Start by reestablishing a routine that prioritizes movement and nourishment. Exercise isn't just about aesthetics, it's about rediscovering your strength. Whether it's walking, running, weightlifting, or yoga, find an activity that makes you feel alive. With each workout, you're not just burning calories, you're releasing endorphins, building discipline, and proving to yourself that you're capable of pain through pain. Now think of the moments after a workout when your heart is racing, your muscles are burning, and your mind feels clearer than it has in days. That clarity is proof that your body, when cared for, becomes a sanctuary, place where healing begins. Eating well is another essential aspect. Nourishing your body with wholesome foods isn't just about physical health. It's a form of self-respect. Every meal you prepare with care is a reminder that you value yourself enough to invest in your well-being. As you build this foundation of physical health, something remarkable happens. You begin to carry yourself differently. Your posture improves, your energy increases, and your confidence becomes palpable. These changes aren't just visible to you, they're visible to everyone around you, including the person who left. They'll see someone who didn't crumble under the weight of heartbreak, but rose stronger because of it. But this journey isn't about them, it's about you. Taking care of your physical health is a daily act of self-love, a reminder that you are worth the effort. When you treat your body as the temple it is, you reinforce the belief that your happiness and well-being are your own responsibility. Imagine a version of yourself 6 months from now, stronger, healthier, and radiating a quiet confidence. This is the person you're becoming, one small, intentional step at a time. And as this transformation unfolds, you'll find that the pain of their departure fades into the background, replaced by the joy of living fully and freely. With these 10 rules, you're not just surviving the loss of someone who left, you're thriving in their absence. You're proving day by day that your life is yours to shape, and no one's departure can change that. This is the essence of Stoicism, reclaiming your power, embracing your strength, and living in alignment with your highest self. Let the journey continue. As we've walked through these 10 transformative rules, one thing becomes clear. This journey is not about making someone else regret losing you. It's about rediscovering and reclaiming yourself. It's about turning pain into power, loss into liberation, and heartbreak into a stepping stone toward your highest potential. But each rule builds on the foundation of Stoicism, a philosophy rooted in self-mastery, resilience, and clarity of purpose. Through these steps, you've not only built a life that is rich and fulfilling, but also become someone who radiates quiet confidence and inner peace. This is the essence of what it means to live stoically, not to control others, but to master yourself. Now, let me leave you with a question. Who are you becoming through this process? Not in comparison to who left, but in alignment with your highest vision for yourself. Each day you embrace these principles, you are stepping into a version of yourself that is unshakable, someone who not only thrives but inspires others to do the same. If these principles have resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on what you've learned. Share your insights in the comments below. Your voice might inspire someone else who is starting their journey. And if you found value in these lessons, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Together, we can create a community rooted in resilience, growth, and the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. Thank you for joining me on this path of transformation. May your journey continue to be filled with strength, clarity, and purpose. So remember, I am stronger than tomorrow. Carry this affirmation with you as a daily reminder of the incredible power you hold within. Wishing you peace and fulfillment on every step of your journey. See you next time.